friend, and welcome to another episode of The Influential Nonprofit. I am your host, as usual, Maryanne Dersch, and I work with nonprofit leaders to master the art of influence so they can raise more money without feeling rejected or pushy. And if you are watching this podcast via YouTube video, you will see there is a different background behind me. Yes, after many months, I am finally in my new office space on the third floor of my house, and I'm so excited. I absolutely love it. If you are listening to this, I have this really cool purple accent wall that I had match my actual brand colors. I have white furniture. It's like very bold, very feminine, very fun, just like me. And honestly, what I realized when I was putting this space together was I have not had a space all to my own since my childhood bedroom. And I don't know how I feel about that. Like honestly, I've had a lovely life. I have an amazing life. And in fact, that's what we're going to talk about today. But also it really struck me. When I was in college, I had roommates. Like when I lived with my parents, I had my own bedroom. My brothers and sisters were all older than me. They had flown the coop many years before I had my own bedroom. When I went to college, I had roommates. I loved my roommates and I loved living with them and I had great experiences. And then when I was 20, I moved in with a group of friends and one of them became my husband and I lived with them and it was mostly guys and it was a crazy college experience. But then I lived with my husband since, we were in college and I've always shared spaces with him. And I've had like kind of spaces of my own, but never really decorated or filled out in this way. So I'm very excited. And also, I'm thinking, why didn't this happen earlier? That's cool, whatever. Um, this has been part of a long remodel of my house. And this is the last kind of phase of the third floor. Okay, well, we're going to refinish the floors in my daughter's bedroom across the hall from me. But this has just been amazing. And I feel like so settled. I have a door, so less dog barking, less interruptions, less people walking around behind me. I don't have to, I was using those pull-up banners behind me to give myself some privacy and to give my clients and when I'm doing trainings and speaking some focus. So I am so excited. There's still a few little things to put together, but we're like 80, no 95% here. So I just had to say that I am so excited for that. I'm really excited to create and conduct business out of this space because really, energy is everything and energy precedes outcomes, and how you think and feel about something really determines the kind of results you're going to get. And often in our world, we don't really focus on the energy we're putting into something. We focus on the strategy. And I get that. And strategy is important. And also, energy is everything. And I'm going to share with you today something that I developed over the last week that I think is kind of a big hit. So before I moved into this office, almost 2 weeks ago now, I went on a retreat to Breckenridge, Colorado. So I have a coach, Michelle Villalobos. I mentioned her quite a bit. And I'm part of a long-term coaching group of hers. So I coach and train people. I ask people to invest in their personal and professional development. And because I eat my own cooking, I do the same. And because I know how impactful it is to have a guide and have a coach. And I tell you, hey, you give from the overflow, not the depths of the well. Well, I have to do the same. And I'm telling you, I was out of gas. And so I was really looking forward to this retreat up in the beautiful mountains in Colorado, in this big house in Breckenridge, and all these people from all over the country, sometimes other countries, who are all business owners. We get together and we work on ourselves. It is truly really deep personal work that we do because the personal affects the professional. We do not live in silos, right? It's all bundled together, and how we think and feel and how we process our emotions and how we're able to view the world directly ties into how we do business every single minute of every single day. So I go off to the woods. Okay, so first of all, I have been to Steamboat. I've been to Evergreen, Colorado. I was not altitude sick like I was in Breckenridge. And I realized Breckenridge is a bit higher. If you're from Colorado, please chime in because I want to know. But I was did not feel good the first day. It was rough. And also it was an amazing experience. So one of the things that we did was on the second day, no, the first day, it all kind of blends together. Anyway, we were challenged to write all the ways our life was amazing. And as if we were going before a judge to present factual evidence of an amazing life. So, not like, oh, I have a beautiful home. Like, tell me something specific. Like, I have the third floor office, of my dreams. I want to, you want it to be very specific, as if you were making a case before a judge, because there's feelings and there's facts. And sometimes um, we don't see the facts because our feelings are looking for their own evidence. So if we think, um, so let's just use an analogy, a a sentiment that we use all the time, which is like fundraising is hard, or fundraising is, oh, it's so hard to ask for money. So and that's a feeling that we have, or we feel stressed. Where's the money going to come from? Where's the money going to come from? And so that's a feeling that we have, that feeling of scarcity. But the facts are the money shows up. The facts are people give generously. The facts are sometimes you don't know where that money's coming from and it shows up. I'm just noticing how well my nails match the back wall here. I am nothing if not well branded, people. I'm gonna tell you that. Okay, so sometimes because our brain is wired to look for trouble, our brain is wired to look for fear, that our feelings often don't take into account the actual facts. So this is, if I had to go before a judge and list all the ways my life is awesome, what case would I present to the judge? Oh, here's the thing. Whoever had the most won. Good God, I'm competitive when I want to be. Not all the time, but if I decide I want to win, I will win. So what I did was I carved this into categories. So like home life, like my family, my immediate, like my immediate family, my extended family, my friends, my business, I divided into sections so I could work on kind of a section at a time. And to give very specific things like, oh, I have a great husband. No, I have a great husband because my husband, when a bat gets in the house, my husband gets it out. Like that's one of the reasons why my life is awesome. And what I learned from this is there's little tiny miracle moments, beautiful moments that are happening to you every day that we often just don't pay attention to because we're not we're moving so fast, I think. So one of the really cool things that came through for me was, one of the reasons that my life was awesome on that day was my daughter. That day was my youngest daughter Taylor's picture day. Now my youngest daughter Taylor lives with autism. She does not speak. She does not like to look people in the eye, but she's an awesome kid. She relates to you, but it's in a really different way. Anyway, she is the most amazing teacher. And the teacher texted me and said, I danced around for 10 minutes singing Olivia Rodrigo songs. So to get Taylor to look at the camera and smile. And she said, I think I did it. I almost did it. She said because my daughter will keep her hands in front of her face. We just have a little bit of hands in front of her face. And I thought, when I first saw that text, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. She danced around for 10 minutes. But when I was working on my Why My Life is Amazing list, I went back to that text. I'm like, okay, let's receive that a little more deeply. That is amazing. This woman loves my daughter and understands my daughter so much that she sings one of her favorite artists for 10 minutes, jumping around like crazy, trying to get my kid to look at the camera and smile for picture day. My life is amazing. And it really like made me way more grateful for those little things like that. Because one of the things that came up in debriefing this My Life is Amazing exercise is there's so many little moments and what I call miracle moments where you meet someone, or um something happens to you and all of a sudden the course of your life changes, but you don't know it in that moment. Like when I met my coach, like how I met Michelle is I was at the National Speakers Association conference and it was the last day of this long conference. I was really tired. Like I'm telling you, if I'm tired of talking to people, like I didn't know that was a thing, but it was a thing and I was ready to go. And I'm walking through this ballroom, going to have the last meal and get on a plane. And all the tables are full. And I find one table with 2 seats open. I sit down and another woman says, "Hey, can I sit down next to you?" I said, "Absolutely." And she sat down and we got to talk. And turns out this person worked for Michelle. And I wound up talking with her and enrolling in this program, which I am still in and since 2018. But I didn't know at the time that a casual conversation I had accidentally would change the course of my life. Those are called miracle moments. So if you don't know in the moment that it's a miracle, then could it possibly be that every moment is a miracle? And that's the lesson that truly came through for me in this exercise is looking for the amazingness in your life and really being grounded in the gratitude and receiving all of the joy and the gratitude in your life. In fundraising, in nonprofits in general, we sometimes block our receptivity. We block the gifts and the goodness because we don't feel worthy of it. We like, you might say, like, "Oh, you did great on that project. Oh, I have an amazing team." Oh, yeah, you do. And you did great on that project. Like, receive that compliment, receive that gift that, sometimes when people give us money, it can feel good and a little uncomfortable because if it's a lot of money and now you feel like, oh, now it's a responsibility, like a lot of feelings can come up and they're all fine. They're all valid. They're all okay. But I'm saying, like, can we just really be grounded in the amazingness, the awesomeness of the every moment of every day? Not that you're not going to have a bad day, it's not all rainbows and unicorns, and yet we can train our brain to look for the amazing and awesome, just like we can train our brain to look for the trouble. And which way would you rather live? Right? Okay, so having come off this retreat, I came home for one night and then I went to Erie, Pennsylvania to the Keystone Conference, which was honestly one of the most amazing conferences I have ever spoken at. Oh my gosh, it was so well run. And I'll just say this really quick because, like, Monday night, um, I was speaking on Tuesday. I flew in Monday afternoon, evening, and Monday night they got all of the speakers and sponsors of this conference, and they like took us out to dinner. And we went to a local place in Erie. It was so fun. It was so great to like meet other speakers. Typically, like when you fly in on on a Monday and you speak on Tuesday, I mean, I know how to fill my time. I'm a grown up. I would have gone watch Monday Night Football somewhere or try to find the Blues game on, I don't, somewhere in some sports bar and made the most of my time. But it was really nice to have this little meal and connect with the speaker. So if you organize a conference, I'm telling you, this was such a great experience for all of us, and all of us were saying we've never had anything like this. So if you got it in the budget, that you can, they got us a bus and they took us out to dinner. It was like open bar and a little nice buffet meal. It was lovely, but most of it was lovely because we got to connect with other speakers and really learn about each other's work in a way that wouldn't have been possible, with the coming and going of a conference. So I just wanted to add that. So for all of you, if you are conference organizers, if you can do that, I would totally recommend it. And if you want to reach out to me, Maryanne at courageouscommunication.com, I can hook you up with the people who organize this if you want to get some tips from them. Okay, so from this conference, okay, they gave every speaker an exhibitor booth. Now, let me tell you, I get on the fence about these exhibitor booth things. Okay. Like, seriously, sometimes it's just a little awkward sitting behind there. I hate sitting behind a table. I hate the physical division. But they offered us a booth or an exhibit table. I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do that. I brought some books, I brought some goodies. And then I thought, okay, I don't really like this experience. What can I do to make it work better for me and be of more value for the people who are coming to visit me? Da, 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 da. So coming off this retreat and my way of justifying my amazing life, I came up with this up level your influence awesomeness tracker. And it's just one sheet and it's 30 days, slots, spaces for 30 days, where every day for one day you write why your life is awesome. Just one thing every day why your life is awesome. And so when people, how they do at the conferences where you get like the little passport stampy things, right? And if you go visit all the people, then you get to get a prize or something. So I don't like that often because it's kind of contrived. Like you don't have to talk to me if you don't want to. But this awesomeness tracker changed everything because people would say, hey, can you stamp my thing? I said, absolutely. How about, Anne, will you do this for me? Take this paper, and fill it out 1 through 30. And for the next 30 days, tell me one thing every day why your life is awesome. And my email's at the bottom. And if you want to email me and tell me how you feel at the end of those 30 days, I'd love to hear from you. People were like so into this. First of all, it gave me something to talk to. It gave them something of value. I didn't feel pitchy, which that's not my jam. And I got to have a really meaningful, if brief conversations with people. When I gave my talk that afternoon, I gave some more away too. And people were like, can I have more? I want to give these to my staff. I want to give these to my clients. Someone's like, we run a clubhouse for people with like mental health, working on mental health challenges. Like, I would love to give them to this. Like, yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. I mean, I would love for you to write 5 things every day, but hey, let's just start with one. Right? Let's just start with one thing every day. So what I would challenge you to do is your own awesomeness tracker. I am going to put the PDF of this in the show notes. So you can download this PDF and start using it yourself. Please feel free to share it with anyone you want. Share it with your family, with your friends, with your team at work, with your board, with your committees, and do it for 30 days and see how it feels on the end of that. Because once you start training your brain to find the awesomeness around you, it starts picking up on a lot more of it. And the more gratitude that you can have, the more gratitude that you can ground yourself in, the more joyful your life would be, and the more receptivity, the more good things come into your life. And so this is just an amazing little exercise that I just thought up coming off this retreat, thinking about the exercise that we did on the retreat and wanting to give myself a better exhibitor experience. I'm like, let's make an awesomeness tracker. And you can do this for 30 days and see how people love it. And they loved it. So that's why I'm sharing it with you. And I would love for you to do the same. Thanksgiving is coming. It's the season of gratitude. It's the season of receptivity, of receiving, right? Like, we're into the fall now. The fall is the season of harvesting the bounty. It is of being in gratitude, of thanksgiving for all the joy in our life. And so this would be a great exercise for you to do, and a great time of year to do it, just to really ground yourself in the awesomeness that presents itself every day, that we may just not really receive as much as we could or overlook because we're just not paying attention to it. All right, everyone, that is it for me. Thank you so much for listening. Please grab your awesomeness tracker. I'm trying to get it here in the light because it doesn't look, there we go. That's better. Again, if you're listening to this, I will have a PDF on the YouTube and a PDF on my on the podcast from the show notes. And I will also upload it to the page on my website. You can go to courageouscommunication.com/podcast and you can find it in this episode there. If no one has told you yet today, you are awesome every single darn day. Thank you for doing what you do for our community. Thank you for showing up every day in service to the people in our world. Our world, our lives are better because of the work you do, and you are awesome. Have a great week, and I will see you next time on The Influential Nonprofit.